World of Tanks, how to ammo rack. So you want to use high penetration rounds and you want to use high damage rounds. Sorry about that. The way to ammo rack is you have to get the HP of the enemy vehicle's ammo rack down to 0. So every internal module has hit points and you want to get it down to 0. However, when you damage it, the repairs start to occur for the enemy vehicle, which restores the hit points. And the hit points can be restored to halfway through normal gameplay. And using a repair kit, it can be restored to 100%. So you want to not only penetrate and damage that ammo rack, but you want to keep on doing it until it gets down to 0. And you're competing against the enemy repairing it, for example. You want to aim for the rear of the turret. I'm going to show you that over here. This is the rear of the turret. Or the side of the tank above the tracks, which is right over here. It's the part in white. That's where the ammo racks are. You want to fire as quickly as you can before the enemy tank can repair, because as soon as you damage it, it starts repairing. The crew automatically repairs. You want to be as close to the enemy as possible, and the reason why is because you have to penetrate the outside armor, and then the ammo might have to penetrate something else on the inside. It can happen, especially if you have spaced armor. So being closer increases the chances that you penetrate. You want to fire your best rounds. So if your best rounds are heat rounds or APCR or gold rounds, fire your best rounds. I've done a lot of testing, and the regular rounds were the least likely to cause the ammo rack to explode. Get as many critical hits as possible on the ammo rack. A critical hit means that you damage the ammo rack. Use a vehicle with a huge gun, such as the FV-215B-183, against weak tanks with weak armor. So if you fire against a weak tank like a light tank, you're way more likely to do an ammo rack. And you want to use the gold rounds. I'm going to use an example. I played the FV-215B-183, and I got 2 ammo racks in one game because I was firing gold rounds. You have to get the HP of the ammo rack to 0 for it to explode. So the HP, let's say it's 200. The higher tier vehicles have higher HP, the lower tier vehicles have less HP. So you want to get the internal HP to 0. It's not going to tell you how much HP is left. It's not reported in the game. You want to get it to 0, and they can increase their HP using special equipment or bonds or crew skills. It adds to the HP. Locate the gun and the breech of the gun. The loader has to sit next to the gun, and he's got to put the round in the rear of the gun, so the ammo has to be next to the loader or behind him so he can load the gun. It's never going to be stored near the engine, and ammo will be stored next to the driver in some cases, but not always. So the ammo is usually in the back of the turret. That's the purpose for the turret to be shaped like this. And the loader is sitting right here. You see how the gun comes in? The gun goes into the middle of the tank. The loader is sitting over here, and he's got to take the ammo and feed it through the back. In this case, we've got ammo in the back, but there's also ammo on the side, and the loader is sitting over here feeding the ammo into the gun. Now keep in mind, you see the front of the tank, we've got a headlight over here, and there's something blue, and to the right of it, it's gray. If you fire into that, it will go through, and you can also hit the ammo rack. So if you're shooting at the front of the tank, try to hit it at the sides, and you're more likely to detonate the ammo rack. There's also, I don't have the front of a vehicle here, but you know where the driver is because the driver has a little hatch and he's got a little viewport. And if you can, most of the drivers are on the side, so you can tell which side he's on. If there's ammo next to the driver, it's going to be on the other side, and that's it. Okay, so that's how you do it. I did some videos. You could go to cheapbooks.cc. I'm going to sneeze. You can go to cheapbooks.cc and you can watch the videos, and they have spreadsheets that show all the testing I did. And what I discovered is when I went into the training room and just fired at the ammo rack, I always was able to detonate it. But when I did it in game, where I took the vehicle and I started driving around shooting at it, I wasn't ever able to do it. So having accurate shots as close as possible is really important. I was able to detonate ammo racks with a tier 1 vehicle against a tier 10 vehicle, so it is possible. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.